You be tripping? No, we be tripping. A trip, if you will, is what we be doing. And so we want to share with you what we would do in a trip situation, right? Trip planning is very important when it comes to destinations like Walt Disney World and Disneyland. So we want to talk to you a little bit about some of the positives and the negatives when it comes to Disney's Magical Express or renting a vehicle when you visit Walt Disney World. Obviously, a lot of folks will travel into the Orlando International Airport, and Disney's Magical Express is a service. If you don't know, if you've never been able to experience it yourself, it's a service that's complimentary. It's part of your Walt Disney World stay. So if you're staying at a resort at Disney World, it's a complimentary service that they can attach onto, and it's almost all airlines at this point, but there are a few that are still excluded. But most airlines will be a part of this. So when you book your trip through your Disney destination of choice, right? So you want to go to, say, Disney Pop Century Resort, you want to go to the Grand Floridian Resort, you'll be able to go ahead and link up immediately with the fact that you want some complimentary transportation. So Disney's Magical Express is a bus that will pick you up at Orlando International. It'll drive you straight to your resort. Now, it may have to drop off at a few others depending on the route that you're on, but it's something that's done for free. And then I think one of the best sell points of that is that the luggage from Disney's Magical Express, you check it at your departing airport, and then you don't see it again until it arrives in your room back when you get to your Disney resort. So sometimes it takes a couple hours, but it still arrives and it still gets put into your room for you, and you don't have to think about it. It's a tremendous service that I can't believe is complimentary. A lot of people take advantage of it because of that. Thousands and thousands of people a day take advantage of it. And it's something that I have always done in my Disney World trips. Now, Tyler, you had recently told me that you and Katrina actively pursue rental cars, right? In your Disney World vacation experiences.
More recently, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. So what changed? Why did you decide to do that?
Well, first of all, I do want to say that we never really did Magical Express.
Okay.
I mean, I have done Magical Express a couple times in my life, but we used to just get an Uber or whatever from the airport and then just use Disney transportation. But my whole thing is, when we're paying a lot of money to be on vacation, and I understand that not everybody has the means to, continue to throw money at a vacation, but at the same time, when I'm paying money to spend time at these parks, basically, to me, I want to spend as much time as possible doing this stuff, and so I will spend a little bit of extra money to do that, and so. I rent the car. We drive to the resort. It's easy, like a snap. And the thing is you don't have to. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong about this, but you don't have to pick up your luggage or anything at the airport. They get it for you,
right.
and you just
you get shuttled to your resort, and there it is.
So does it actually show up in your room?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, then that's interesting because I've also had other people. I've had times where I've wanted my luggage delivered and they would tell me, "Oh, you can't have your luggage delivered if you're not in the room." So that was one of the reasons why I started doing this too, because I was like, I didn't want to waste time waiting for my luggage in the room, But if you're saying they just drop it off there, maybe I've had maybe I've been wrong about this the whole time.
It's been my last couple of experiences where I haven't had to worry about it. It just arrives.
Sure. So, I mean, I guess my only downside to that would be then is like if I wanted to get in my luggage immediately, then I would have to still wait for it. But other than that, man, honestly, I just think it's what you want to do. I think for us, it's easy to just drive to the theme parks, and we have annual passes that get us parking, and so. Yeah, it's a huge cost when you consider renting the car, and then we have to pay for the hotel for parking as well. Mm-hmm. But at the same time,
that's something that's relatively new the last couple of years. Disney resorts are now charging extra fees for parking,
and it's not cheap. But at the same time, we like to spend our vacation being very fluid. We like to be like, do you want to go to Universal or do you want to go to downtown Orlando? Like, we do stuff off property sometimes. So
I guess that makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
You want to be able to commute places, and
sure,
can't do that with Magical Express. It's a one and done.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like you were saying, you can't believe Magical Express is free. Oh, it's free because they trap you.
Yeah.
They,
No, that's the idea. You're absolutely
trapped there, and so you're only paying Disney at that point. The whole idea is to pay Disney. You know, that's cool. I think that's a great way to get to start off your vacation. But I'm also at the point where I don't want to take a chance and hope that there is no line for Magical Express, because if you get there at the wrong time, there will be a line.
Yeah, you do have to deal with crowds.
And then what if they take me to, what if we're going to 3 different resorts and my resort's the last one on the stop?
An extra 40 minutes added to
yeah.
your
So,
experience.
and listen, that doesn't sound like a whole lot, but again, going back to my original point, when you're spending thousands of dollars just to be there, you have to consider that your time is money. Like that's
so it comes down to time for you. Just
it really is. I just want to go and do things as fast as possible, and I don't want anything to stop us. I mean, that's really what it is.
And be able to zip in and zip out, and
yeah. And the other thing too is like I feel spoiled at this point, to be honest with you, because we've been lucky, like extremely lucky enough to be able to go to Disney World many times over the past few years, and at a certain point, when you have to get in line for the bus for the 100th time, you're just like, dude, I do not want to get on this bus right now. Or at the end of the night when you're so tired and you're just like, there hasn't been a bus for 20 minutes in this line. I don't even know if we're going to fit on the next bus,
Sure.
It just gets to be a lot. And when you're trying to relax and be on a vacation, I'll rent a car so that I can relax and be on vacation.
Those buses can be quite taxing, especially when you have to wait to absorbent amounts of time. We did take a poll at the Kingdom Report on Facebook, and we asked, is Magical Express something that you do, or do you rent a car? And you'll see there, 81% say Magical Express all the way, 19% say, nope, I rent a car. And it's definitely something that I think, I've seen more and more of, is people take advantage of. It's a complimentary service, so they're going to go for it. Also, some of the comments that you'll see from the Kingdom Report on Facebook. You have folks here that are discussing whether or not, they would take Magical Express over renting a car. And overwhelmingly, we saw folks saying Magical Express. Every once in a while, you'll see somebody mentioning that, hey, no, I wanted to rent a car. It's a little bit easier. But one of the things that I kept seeing repeated in the comments, both here and then we also discussed it over on our Instagram, was when it comes down to it, is the extra money that you're going to shell out worth it? Or did you want to take Magical Express, which again is complimentary? It'll drop you off. It'll also pick you up to take you back to the airport at the end of your journey, and then just take a Lyft and Uber once you're at the resort. That's something that I do. I'll take Magical Express in, and then to get from resort to resort, or if I want to go off property, I'll take a Lyft. It's a little bit easier. It's really not all that expensive, and
Sure.
I've never done the numbers to see if, had I just rented a car, would it be different?
You're saving money doing Uber.
Yeah.
You are. You're because it. Not only maybe if there was no parking, you could make no if there was,
point.
but with the parking fees, you're not going to save money. And I used to do that too. I used to get to the resort and then just use Uber and stuff. But even that, again, I sound like a spoiled little child. I feel like I'm just like, I don't want to wait. I don't want to.
Your time's important to you. I understand.
I don't want to. Like, especially like the last couple times we went, we stayed at Grand Destino, and Grand Destino's parking lot is right out the front door of the hotel. And we walk for a minute to our car and get in the car and we're gone. I don't want to. And I've had bad experiences with Uber drivers exclusively in Orlando, actually, because they don't want to take you to the theme park. They want to, when they show up at a hotel, they want to take you to the airport. Like, that's what they want. And when they see, it's a guy that's doing another 3-minute fare, they're not nice. I've had that happen a couple times, and I'm not saying that's always going to happen, but I had a guy who wouldn't leave. He'd be like, can you cancel the trip? 'Cause I'm waiting for somebody to go to the airport. And I was like, really? And I'm like, fine, dude, I gotta go. I'll cancel the trip. And then I get another trip. It's the same guy.
Quality driver.
At that point I go, dude, just open your door and let me in. Come on. And he's like, no, I'm not. I got to do a different fare. And then he canceled it and drove away.
Oh.
And I was like, well,
Hopefully he's still
this is
driving today.
wonderful. And I'm not saying that's, that obviously was a outside.
Yeah.
That's not always going to happen. But it's just another one of those layers when I'm just trying to have a nice time that I don't want to deal with, So
Well, I've been fortunate. I've never encountered somebody as awful as
maybe
that.
I'm the problem.
It might be. I'm picking up on it here. But we can't talk about Walt Disney World and not go to our reporter in Walt Disney World, Mr. Garrett Hassel. Garrett, have you ever taken Magical Express before you lived there?
No. So I didn't go to Walt Disney World until I was 21 years old, and I went with my loving girlfriend and her family. But we took our own Magical Express called a 22-hour car ride from Nebraska to Orlando, and let me tell you, that was an experience.
What an experience indeed.
I'm sure it made you feel closer to everyone involved.
Yeah. Luckily, her family, they are DVC and they're annual pass holders, so they get parking for free, and I do too, being an annual pass holder. But if I were going to Disney World, if I was only going to Disney World, I would probably just do the Magical Express just for the purpose of saving money. And if I was staying at the Art of Animation, I could just hop on the Skyliner rather than having to wait for a bus. But yeah, renting a car, just like, because I've rented cars in California when I go visit and stuff, and if sometimes it can be $25, $30 a day. On top of that, you have to watch out for you have to do gas and all this other things, and then the parking fees just become astronomical. So
there's tolls in Orlando too, by the way.
Yeah, got to remember that. Also the tolls.
Oh yeah, there's tolls out here, but yeah, I would do Magical Express. If you're only doing Walt Disney World, I would just stay here and do the bus, and if at the end of the night you're tired, do the Uber. Just that way you're good to go. But ultimately, for me, Magical Express is going to be the best way, just because the luggage at the airport is probably the biggest factor that makes it exciting. Instead of waiting for a 2-hour-long line at the airport, it's already handled. Disney does that for you, and that to me is you could easily charge for that. So yeah, that's my take.
I think that's the big thing I would say too, is like Magical Express is definitely the way to go if you have a family. Like I it's just me and Katrina, and we can handle our bags, and it's an easy thing, like no big deal. If you have a family where each person has 1 to 2 bags, and you're 4 people or 5 people or 6 people, I can't imagine trying to rent a car and like shuffle through all that stuff with your kids, and
That
so
can be a real hassle.
Yeah, I mean it really could be, but if
A real Garrett hassle, if you will. Thank you for that.
Sorry, I had to look at his face. But I think that honestly, I would say renting a car is the way to go if you're just trying to screw how much money I spend.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
You're a high roller like Tyler Crouch.
That's not even what I'm trying to say.
Car.
It's not even like that. It's just I don't do that all the time. It's just like when I'm on vacation, I'm like, we can spend a little extra.
When you don't rent the limo, you say, you know what? I'm just gonna get a car this time. It's fine.
Yeah,
no Escalade.
Used to get the limo. We downgraded to the Escalade. Used to get the limo, but
well, producer Kurt, how about you? You go out to Disney World every once in a while. What do you and your family do?
We usually get the Magical Express. Every single time we've gotten the Magical Express.
So you've never done any different?
I have not, no.
But do you go anywhere else when you're on property?
We went once to Universal, and then they have a shuttle system where they can pick you up in a bus to the resort.
Okay.
So that worked out. We stayed at the All-Star. I like the Magical Express because it really, like, your vacation starts before it actually starts. You get to fill out that paperwork, and you get all excited, and you get like, oh, look, I get these cool luggage tags to put on my luggage, and it's awesome. And I don't have to deal with the luggage.
Yeah.
You get to fill out paperwork. I like the way you said it. You get to fill out the paperwork.
It's so exciting.
You must love going to the DMV.
Favorite day. No, not even close. But though the first time I did take the Magical Express, we didn't get our luggage until 3 a.m. into our hotel.
And I've heard those horror stories before.
Yeah.
I guess I've always been fortunate then. Yeah, I've never really had to wait, but I have heard the same.
Yeah, I have a friend who they got in and they didn't get their luggage till the next day. I mean, and 3 a.m. would be annoying. It'd be like you're knocking on my door at 3 a.m. Like,
exactly.
What are you doing? Like,
and it's the first night of the trip, and that's how you're starting it off. It's
right.
like, oh, I don't have anything to sleep in. I got to wait for my luggage. It's annoying.
So there are those one-offs to really consider there. Yeah.
There's one-offs in every situation, honestly, So, I mean, I could even say, if you rent a car, it could break down, So, I mean, there's going to be one-offs no matter what. It's all about, honestly, I boil it down to it's all monetary.
Yeah.
It's how much money do you want to throw at your vacation because...
and how much is your time worth?
Sure, but yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Because... you could go either way and have a fantastic time, and it's going to be great. They do. Again, it's the cast members who make it work out, and I most of the time have had really nice bus people even. So it's just it's gonna work out great no matter way you slice or dice it. Just it's up to you how much money you want to spend.
Sounds like an awful lot more people say take the Magical Express than take a rental car, but no, I appreciate appreciate your insight, and definitely something that if you travel a lot off property and you bounce around to the different theme parks in the area, probably worth it, especially when it comes down to time. I think that's a really important factor. Definitely when you think about how much time you spend waiting for the buses from the resorts to the parks, that also, as we had mentioned, plays into this. I mean, there are times where I've watched 3 and 4 buses come for a different resort nearby, and not one has come to pick me up to take me to Epcot or something like that.
And that makes me sad.
Yeah, all those things to consider when planning your next trip.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.